Now I question myself if I possess that certain characteristic as a communicator.
At some point, maybe you do possess those characteristics.
And you just need to enhance your qualities. But nonetheless, you are a good communicator.
By the way, I'd like to talk on communication ethics. Is communication ethics really important? Ethics plays a vital role in communication. When we communicate, we should consider how helpful or harmful our words and actions to others. In this discussion video, we will explore how we communicate with others ethically. This video discussion will be in three parts. First is the ethics, communication, and ethics of communication. Second is the principles of ethical communication. And third is the real-life example of ethical communication in the world of human resources. Our first part will be what is ethics, communication, and ethics of communication. Ethics come from the Greek word ethos, which means character or moral nature. According to Pritchard and Goldfarb noted, ethics is concerned in analyzing and distinguishing what is right or wrong, good or bad, fair or unfair in human action. Meanwhile, the communication, according to Nordquist 2024, is the process of sending and receiving message through verbal and non-verbal. Therefore, ethics of communication focus on how one behavior affects the way we communicate with others. Now that we already know what ethical communication means, let us then proceed to the second part of our report, which is discussing the principles of ethical communication. It is not easy to know what is right from wrong when we are involved in ethical decision making. Honestly, it can be easier said than done, but we are free to choose. But we should also consider that our choices should be versed by ethics. According to the article of Foster 2024, there are mainly four principles of ethical communication. The first one is honesty and transparency. This principle is considered as the universal rule in one's communication. When you are honest, you speak the truth and you present yourself genuinely and sincerely, taking responsibility for your actions and feelings. The strength of honesty and transparency is something that makes the relationship stronger than before. There is a saying that if you're an honest person, then you will attract a genuine person. Speaking the truth and showing transparency makes a person reliable. To support this claim, according to the article of the VA Institute on Charter, noted, honesty and transparency foster trust, positive relationship, and personal integrity. Second is to understand your audience. According to the study of LET 2019, if you are in a position to make and influence decision, you will notice that just being yourself doesn't work well for everyone. There is a saying from the NET 1980, treat others the way they wish to be treated. Understanding your audience, employees, friends, or even your peers will make you have more how to resolve or understand the certain situation and will make the bond more stronger than before. It is essential to know who is your audience first so that you can adjust the formality. For instance, is when you are talking to a client, you should construct your message or your tone formally. Meanwhile, if you are dealing with someone as your colleague or your friend or your peers, you may or may not speak formally. As long as you know how to be sensitive enough to one's person, if they like this or not, etc. By doing this, people feel heard, valued, respected, and appreciated. The third one is to respect privacy. According to Pew Research Center 2019, 79% of the US adults report being concerned about the way how their data is being used by some companies and organizations. Nobody wants their privacy to be violated. Therefore, we must recognize privacy as a way to respect individuals and their autonomy. Doing that maintains a positive relationship because we are aware and we respect others' boundaries and privacy. The fourth and last one principle is selecting the right time and place. Speaking the truth makes a person reliable. However, sometimes truth can hurt others' feelings. That's why someone needs to speak carefully because some people are just not ready to hear the truth and accept it. Therefore, we should consider their feelings and think if we are the right one to say it and if it's the right time to discuss it. Remember, it is not just what you say, it is about when and where you will say it. Finally, let's proceed to the part 3 of our report. A real-life example of ethical communication in the world of human resources. Let's say our real-life example of ethical communication of an HR is when someone or some of your employees raise a concern regarding his or her workmate who is assaulting him or her. As an HR, you must take into consideration the ethical principle, which is the privacy and the rights for the protection of that employee. Another example is the transparency regarding the compensations of one's employees. For instance, one of your female junior asks questions about the unfair compensation for their salary compared to the men who deliver the same value as the female or the women. As an HR, you must hear their concern and address this issue without any bias. Being transparent with the employee will help the balance in one's organization and build the trust with one another. In conclusion, remember that ethical communication is the core or the golden rule of being an HR professional. Ethics, it's not just about a set of rules that we have to follow. It is a fundamental principle that promotes a positive relationship inside and outside the organization, which helps an individual to build trust and loyalty and contribute to its long-term success.
I would say that ethics is the golden rule in communication.
Correct. That is because we value, respect, honesty, and trust in communication.
Ladies, let's head out. We might get late into our next class.